Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for joining us today for our webinar, Impactful Strategies for Display and Native Ads. My name is Arda, and I'm part of the marketing team here at StackAdapt. And with that, I would like to hand it over to our presenters to get us started.
Thank you very much, Arda, and welcome everybody to our webinar. Thanks so much for joining us on this sunny afternoon. My name is Richard Roycroft. I've been with StackAdapt for 2 years. I'm based in Manchester. I've been working with programmatic for quite a number of years before that, though, both on the supply and the demand side. And I really enjoy working with my clients and agencies to deliver amazing ROI with my super smart account manager, Ina. How are you today, Ina?
Great, thanks, Rich. Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us today. I'm Ina Rodriguez, and I've been with StackAdapt for nearly 2 years now as well. I love the topic that we are going to discuss today, actually, as these two channels are pretty famous when it comes to programmatic advertising. Do you agree, Rich?
I do, absolutely. And just as a reminder, or for any of you who don't really know a lot about StackAdapt, StackAdapt is a state-of-the-art programmatic platform which blends together cutting-edge technology to create a user experience that has been pretty transformative in this market. StackAdapt is the #1 DSP, I'm pleased to say, according to G2 for the past 4 years, and it's one of the fastest growing ad tech businesses in the world. One of the USPs of StackAdapt is that planners can access all programmatic channels in one place. So that's exciting in fast-growing channels such as CTV, digital out-of-home, audio, in-game and video, and of course, display and native. And it's these two heroes of digital that we're really going to try and shine a spotlight on today. So what we're going to look at in this session is, first of all, what is display in 2024? We're going to draw the curtain back a little bit on native and explore what makes it so effective as a channel, and how and why to use both channels to complement each other, and how we can best utilize them to generate the really best results for you and your clients. So without further ado, understanding display advertising, first of all. So in essence, display advertising can come in a variety of styles, and they can range from pretty simple static images, not recommended though, to dynamic rich media with videos, multiple images, animated text, and much more besides. Now, a recent study by the Drum suggested that an average user sees around 93 display ads per day. So it's pretty important that we make our display campaigns as impactful as possible to cut through all this clutter. Display can be a fantastic channel for building reach and frequency within your defined audience, really cost effectively, and to help increase brand awareness and ultimately drive conversions and ROAS when it's done well. Later, Ina is going to talk us through how programmatic can be used to target users that are most likely to be receptive to our brand and message, and in environments that fit our brand values. But once we've found our target audience, we need to make sure it counts with clear messaging and creative that really cuts through all of this clutter and makes an impact. So let's be honest, with standard display sizes, quite often there is a real kind of limited amount of real estate to work with. And so it's really important to make the most of what's available and strike the balance between working the space as hard as possible without turning our target users off. So I'm going to walk you through a small selection of what you could consider for your display campaigns, and the StackAdapt Creative Studio can help build you to make sure that your campaigns stand out and resonate with your target audience. So first of all, as you can see on the left, we have the hotspot. This execution can help you to really engage really encourage user engagement and allow you to include much more information, but crucially without cluttering the design and turning potential users off. It's really useful if your brand has multiple features or multiple product lines with various purchase options, and it can work well with most verticals and work seamlessly across desktop and display. Next along, we have Countdown. A dynamic countdown unit can help create a real sense of urgency for your audience to perform an action with a really strong call to action. Carousel. A carousel, by showing a variety of products or services, we can spark interest from your target audience. Again, it works really well across desktop and mobile, where the user can swipe or click the arrows to browse through the product shown. We can also use multiple clickouts to reduce the number of clicks in order to get to a purchase and so improve the overall user experience. In-banner video in display placements. These are ideal for brands that want to extend video reach outside the in-stream environment, or those who want to really take their standard display banners up a level or two, and a personal favorite of mine. Then we've got dynamic geo. To match your geo targeting with dynamic creative, this really helps to create immediate engagement from your users by matching where they care about with your solution or message tailored to their location, and really stands out. Okay, so I'm on a bit of a roll, so I'm going to keep going with a few others. The first one being scratch to reveal. Scratch over a specific part of the ad to reveal a new image underneath. On mobile, the unit functions on touch, and on desktop, it functions on a cursor hover. It's a fun, interactive treatment that brings brands and offers to life. Next up, we've got dynamic weather. Provide a customized experience to the audience and shows products or solutions that meet their localized weather needs and relate to the localized weather conditions. Animated. Display ads really shouldn't be static if we can possibly avoid it in order to capture attention and encourage action. At the very least, animated ads have a higher chance of being seen by the audience and resulting in a conversion. Shoppable video. A great way to help reduce the steps between awareness and conversion, simultaneously showcasing products in use whilst allowing the user to browse right in the banner. Shoppable videos are ideal for e-commerce, obviously, or any brands with products being showcased via video, and products can click out directly to their individual pages, again for a smooth, frictionless shopping experience for the user. And finally, hover disclaimer, not the most exciting one in the world, but you may need to display legal information alongside your core message, and this treatment allows us to include a discrete disclaimer on hover for desktop or on tap for the mobile to display legal notices for compliance without taking away from the creative's aesthetic appeal or core messaging. Okay, so that's a run through of just some of the ideas that you could use to leverage your display campaigns. So in terms of really effective uses for display, a few examples that you could think about are if the goal is around awareness and brand recall, we can build in viewability tracking and goals to gauge the exposure of the campaign. You might also want to consider an in-house StackAdapt brand lift study to measure the overall impact of the campaign against our overall target audience. If we want to lift the overall performance of other campaign lines, for example, then we can learn a lot through our display campaigns to understand what their user preferences actually are. If it's about sales, then we can track CPA, obviously, conversion revenue and return on ad spend, and build a personalized and sequential retargeting strategy to maximize on sales. Or if it was B2B, leads that we want to generate for B2B by encouraging form fills to capture MQLs efficiently and cost effectively. There are really an awful lot of ways that display can be used and can add value to a campaign. But keep in mind these creative best practices if you can. First of all, needs to be eye-catching enough to attract attention in a cluttered landscape that we know about. Things like animation, the use of real people, brand colors, and clear text will help your display ad stand out. Animations should be eye-catching, definitely yes, but also brand appropriate. Precise messaging is key. Don't try to say too much and clearly communicate a single marketing message wherever you can. Tailor messaging according to size, so mobile should be shortened, for example, and of course a strong call to action where appropriate. Okay, so that was a whistle-stop tour of display. Moving on to native. There's much more to come on targeting and best uses around display, but let's have a go at demystifying what native is all about. Native ads essentially fit seamlessly on the web page like they kind of belong there. Unlike display ads, native ads don't really look like ads, so they don't disrupt the user's interaction with the page. Native ads expose the user to our message, but with more subtlety than a display ad. There are three main types of display ads: in-feed, or sometimes known as in-stream. These occur within a feed of content. Many publishers use the feed format as a way to deliver stories on their properties, and so in-feed native has emerged as a solution to deliver branded content to users without disrupting their user experience, while exponentially increasing their engagement with these ad units. Be that static or video content, both can be served in feed, but are designed to match the look and feel of the publisher's feed, while prominently disclosing the native ad as either a sponsored or promoted content. Then we have in-ad, native ads that occur within the display inventory of a given page. When native inventory is limited, advertisers can achieve greater reach while still using the elements that make native ads so engaging. And finally, content recommendations, which are served through content discovery widgets, typically found at the bottom of an article or a page. So, benefits of native. First of all, ads blend within the platform's content, enhancing the user experience and engagement. Native ads mirroring the look and feel of the content typically see higher engagement rates than traditional display ads. Native allows for precise targeting based on content relevance, leading to more meaningful interactions with the audience. And being less intrusive, native ads are more likely to be viewed and positively received by users. Making sure you offer useful or entertaining content can provide real value to the audience and hence just enhance the brand value. But there are some challenges to look out for as well. Good native requires high quality relevant content that aligns with the platform, which can demand a bit more effort and resources. We also need to ensure users recognize the content as an ad, or it could affect the transparency and trust of the platform. Tracking effectiveness can be more nuanced than traditional ads, focusing more on exposure than clicks. And the success of native ads relies more on the platform's audience and content alignment. And we've got to adhere to advertising standards that mandate clear disclosure of it being promoted content. In terms of best practices for native creatively, in terms of the image, it really does have to be high resolution and obviously on brand. The image should try and tell a story and prompt users to stop scrolling. Feature a person where possible, images with people who portray kind of closeness and connections, smiling faces, engagement, doing activities, that kind of thing, perform much better. Ads that contain 2 or more people tend to earn an even higher click-through rate, and bright, vibrant colors do perform better. In terms of the copy, your headline should be compelling, speak directly to your audience, but in natural language. Use the description to drive clicks through to high-value content, either a blog or a landing page or another piece of content that answers a question or maybe gives information or entertains, and include a clear call to action as well, obviously. In simple terms, how native typically can work, for example, as you can see on the screen, a B2B environment, we can target a user with a native ad that we have identified as one of our target users, drive them to a relevant blog or an article, and then retarget that user, driving them to a landing page or homepage to complete whatever our conversion is. There's a lot of ways to use native effectively if it's implemented with care to help augment the brand story, really offer value to the user wherever possible, and present a different way of thinking about a subject. Or highlighting how others have found value from your products or solutions. Key for effective use of both native and display, though, is targeting, obviously. So over to Ina.
Right. Hello again, everyone, and thank you for joining us today. Again, my name is Ina, and I'm an account manager here at StackAdapt. So before diving into programmatic ad tech, my background was in marketing, where I have worked quite a number of years. So I've specialized in IMC, brand, and campaign management. So transitioning into an ad tech company, I discovered that one principle remains constant, and that is the customer is at the heart of the programmatic industry. So understanding them is akin to possessing the secret sauce for successful programmatic campaigns. So today, we will delve into the critical importance of a customer-centric approach in our display and native ad strategies. So I will discuss StackAdapt's targeting capabilities and optimizations for display and native campaigns. Then Rich and I will discuss how we can seamlessly integrate these channels into our marketing mix. So let's dive in. So as you can see on the slide, first let's delve into Page Context AI or PCAI. This StackAdapt feature allows you to create a custom context for your campaign by inputting a few phrases. Our AI then understands the context of those phrases, and our patented system identifies the best ad placements. So your ads are then placed on these relevant pages in real time, allowing you to reach users when your product or service is top of mind for them. Let's say you're running a campaign for a new brand of organic coffee. You might set the context with phrases like organic coffee, sustainable farming, and fair trade beans. The page context AI will then analyze web pages for these phrases and related content, and place your ads on pages where this context is found. For instance, it might place your ads on a blog post about the benefits of organic farming or a news article about the rise of fair trade practices in the coffee industry. Next, we have keyword rule targeting, also known as KRT. So this feature puts you in the driver's seat. You define the exact keywords you want to target within the content. The more keywords you add, the better the scale. And interestingly, KRT's performance is on par with our retargeting campaigns, ensuring optimal results for your advertising efforts. For the same organic coffee campaign that I mentioned a while ago, you might define specific keywords such as organic coffee, fair trade coffee, and sustainable coffee beans. If a user is visiting a page that contains these specific keywords, your ad will be placed on it. For example, if a user is reading an article titled The Best Organic Coffee Brands of 2022, and it contains your specific keywords, your ad will be displayed on that page. So what sets these two apart? With PCAI, our algorithm takes the reins, analyzing the context of the phrases you input to optimize ad placements. Conversely, with keyword rule targeting or KRT, you're in control, so it's specifying the keywords for targeting purposes. Both PCAI and KRT are excellent tools for delivering impressions to customers while they're on relevant sites. So thanks for real-time ad placements. They're also highly effective for driving conversions, particularly view-through conversions. In conclusions for this slide, whether you prefer to let our AI do the heavy lifting through PCAI or take a more hands-on approach with keyword rule targeting, StackAdapt has tools to help you achieve your advertising goals. So just recently, we have a rebranding campaign for a brand, and we have used this both to place their ads on real time on relevant pages. So this has been proven to be very effective on that. So next is browsing audiences. So browsing audiences is a dynamic feature that revolutionizes behavioral targeting. It empowers you to segment audiences based on their interests and specific topics. So you simply define the topics or keywords that align with your campaign, and our platform does the rest. So with two powerful options at your disposal, you can either leverage AI-generated context or opt for exact keyword matching. The AI-generated context uses our sophisticated machine learning algorithm to develop an audience of users who have shown the most interest in your specified areas. On the other hand, exact keyword matching collects users visiting pages that contain your specified keywords. Once these users are identified and pulled into your audience, they become your target for ad placements. So this means your ads will appear on the pages they visit, enhancing the relevance and effectiveness of your campaigns. So remember, the browsing audiences, you're not just reaching more people, you're reaching the right people. Now, what is the difference between browsing audiences and the targeting capabilities mentioned on the previous slide, the PCAI and KRT? Browsing audiences pull users into a group and target them based on the pages they visit. Then PCAI and KRT don't require user information. They place ads on real time based solely on the content of the page. Now let's go to custom segments. So let's dive into the power of StackAdapt's custom segments. Imagine being able to pinpoint users who are not just relevant, but also hyper relevant to your brand across staggering 120,000 plus sites. So let's paint a picture here. You're a shoe retailer. With StackAdapt, you can target users who are reading about the latest shoe trends and have been with us within a certain radius of your store in the last week. But it doesn't stop there. You can target people based on their web activity, their physical location, the devices they use, and even their internet service provider. And if you have a CRM list, you can bring that into play too. So what's more, StackAdapt gives you access to over 350 third-party data providers. This means you can leverage third-party segments to further refine your targeting. It's not on the slide, but we also offer that on the platform. And the cherry on top, you can mix and match any audience with another, whether it's a browsing audience with a third-party segment or combining two browsing audiences. The possibilities are actually endless. So let's say, for example, you're a car dealership and you want to target potential customers who are likely to be interested in buying a new car and are in a good financial position to do so. So what you could do on the platform is that first, you could start by creating a browsing audience, as I previously discussed. So create a browsing audience around buying a new car. Second, you could request a third-party audience of people with a high credit score. This could be based on financial data, credit reports, or other indicators or financial stability. And finally, you could intersect them or combine these two audiences to create a pool of audience. So this would target only the users who are both browsing about new cars and have a high credit score. So this way, your ads will be shown to a highly relevant audience, increasing the chances of successful conversions and just hitting the right audience there. So we also have other targeting capabilities such as ABM, which has been very effective for B2B. So I have used these targeting capabilities myself across multiple campaigns, and I'm personally very happy to see this campaign succeed. So now let's discuss optimization tactics for native and display. Okay, so let's explore some unique KPIs for display and native advertising. So first off, display advertising. We'll look at three main KPIs here: frequency rate, CPM, and viewability rate. So let me explain each one of them. So frequency rate, this KPI is particularly crucial for display advertising. It measures how often an ad is shown to the same user over a certain period. It's important for avoiding ad fatigue and optimizing ad exposure. So frequency rate is very important. Cost per impression or CPM. So although used across various ad formats, CPM is a more central KPI in display advertising due to the format's focus on visibility and brand awareness. So it measures the cost for every 1,000 ad impressions, as we know. And then lastly, viewability rate. While important across digital advertising, viewability is a key concern for display ads. So it measures the percentage of ads that are actually seen by users, considering factors like ad placement and user behavior. Now let's go to native advertising unique KPIs. So first, engagement rate. Engagement rate goes beyond clicks, measuring how much time users spend with our content right after that click. And then time on site or time on page gives us insight into the relevance and interest our content hold for users after they click our native ad. So now let's talk about how different metrics can help us gauge the effectiveness of our campaigns at various stages of the marketing funnel, as you can see on the slide. So let's start with upper funnel. So this is where we aim to raise awareness about our brand or product. So when we're using display ads, we often look at metrics like CPM or costs per 1,000 impressions and viewability. These metrics help us understand how many people we're reaching and how visible our ads are. And then if we're using native ads, while they can support awareness, they're often selected for their strong engagement metrics such as CPC or cost per click. However, it's important to strike a balance. So we want to reach a wide audience, but we also want to engage them effectively. So consider a blend of viewability and engagement metrics for native ads in the upper funnel. Moving on to the mid-funnel, this is where we aim to engage users post-awareness. For display ads, we look at metrics like CPC, frequency rate, and time on site. This helps us understand how users are interacting with our ads after they become aware of our brand or product. For native ads, we focus on time on site and bounce rate, along with CPE. These metrics help us measure deeper engagement beyond the initial click. And finally, the lower funnel. This is where we aim to drive conversions. So for both display and native ads, we could take a look at metrics like conversions, view-through conversions, and ROAS, or return on ad spend. So these metrics help us measure the direct impact of our ads on sales and revenue. And just a note here that aligning these metrics with our overall business objectives is crucial. So these are just guidelines, and on the actual campaign, it is very important to take into consideration your targeting parameters, the geo, and other factors that will have a direct impact on your KPIs. Going to the next slide, here are the optimization tactics we'd recommend for each funnel. So for display, start by analyzing the performance of your creatives. Look at metrics like CTR and engagement levels to see which creatives are resonating best with your audience. Don't be afraid to experiment with A/B testing for different ad elements like images, CTA, and buttons or your messaging. Second, set a viewability goal for your campaign. This will help ensure your ads are being seen and you can adjust the rate as needed to optimize performance. Third, pay attention to where your ads are being placed. Use heat maps and engagement data to identify high-performing ad placements on publisher sites. You can then optimize your ad sizes and formats based on these insights. Fourth, dive into your audience data like demographics, geographics, and behavioral data of users who are engaging with your ads. This can help you refine your targeting and implement your targeting strategies based on user interaction with previous ads. And lastly, don't forget about your bidding strategies. Use data insights to adjust your bidding to maximize ad visibility while managing costs. Consider using algorithmic bidding for real-time adjustment based on ad performance. So that is for display. And then for native advertising, make sure your content is relevant. Analyze user interaction with your content to tailor future native ads for increased relevance and engagement. You can use sentiment analysis to gauge user responses to different content themes. Second, ensure your native ads align with surrounding content and user interests. Use PCAI or Page Context AI insights to optimize for time of day and users' content consumption patterns for better engagement. Track users from native ad clicks to desired actions. This can help you identify opportunities to streamline the conversion process. Consider implementing content sequencing based on user engagement levels to guide them through the funnel. And finally, refine your audience segments using data on high-performing interest groups and lookalike audiences. Remember, data-driven optimization is all about using the insights you gather to make informed decisions and adjustments to your campaigns. Now let's go to A/B testing. So A/B testing is a fantastic way to find out what works best for your campaign. It involves creating 2 or more versions of a campaign, so each with minor changes, and then testing them to see which setup performs the best. So why do we encourage this? Well, this is about optimizations. By testing different visuals, text, bidding strategies, optimization goals, targeting, and devices, you can measure the effectiveness of each individual tactic. So this helps you understand what works best for your campaign, allowing you to make data-driven decisions and improve your campaign performance. So what is the process of A/B testing? So let's start with hypothesis. This is where you make an educated guess based on your past data or intuition about what changes might improve your campaign performance. So for example, you might hypothesize that changing the color of your CTA button will increase click-through rates. So that's one hypothesis. Next, we'll talk about variables. In A/B testing, it's crucial to change only one element at a time. This could be anything from the CTA image, headline, or even the bidding strategy. This way, you can accurately measure the impact of that specific change. Once you've decided on the variable, you need to split your audience randomly. So this ensures unbiased results and give you a clear picture of which version of your campaign performs better. Both versions of your campaign should run simultaneously for a set period, as this allows you to compare the performance of both versions under the same conditions. And now let's move on to measuring performance. So key metrics to include RCTR, and then measure user engagement conversion rate, which indicates the effectiveness in driving desired action, and of course CPA, which evaluates financial efficiency. But again, this is pretty much depending on your set KPI for that A/B test. And finally, we'll discuss how to turn insights into action. So use the learnings from your A/B test to continually refine your ad creatives. If a particular change proves successful, consider applying that to the other campaigns or ad sets. A/B testing is a cycle of continuous improvement. So keep testing, keep learning, and keep optimizing. Now let's talk about how do we integrate display native in the marketing mix. Back to you, Rich.
Awesome, thanks, Ina. Okay, so we would recommend different channels and formats depending on the KPIs and the cycle of the funnel. However, regardless of the stage of the funnel, we would recommend using a multi-channel approach because this helps really in a number of ways. First of all, it helps to maximize reach. By having a multi-channel approach, you can reach a wider and diverse audience across different digital touch points. Also helps us to refine targeting. Different channels attract different demographics and user behaviors. A multi-channel strategy enables you to tailor your ads to specific audiences on various platforms, ensuring better targeting and relevance. It helps optimizing performance as well. With programmatic, you can analyze performance data and optimize your campaigns in real time, allowing you to allocate budget to the most effective channel and refine your strategy for better results as we go along. Target user where they are. Consumers use multiple devices throughout their day. They are not just watching TV, or they're not just on their desktop either. A multi-channel strategy ensures that your advertising message remains consistent across various devices, providing a seamless and cohesive experience for the audience. So in summary, a multi-channel programmatic advertising strategy offers broader reach, better audience targeting, and real-time optimizations, providing a more effective and resilient approach to digital marketing.
I will walk you through a common campaign setup that our clients often use on the StackAdapt platform. So the first step is targeting users with a native ad. Make sure that the native ad is relevant to the landing page. So once a user clicks on your native ad, they're directed to your blog content or any landing page. So this is where you provide valuable information related to your product or service. The goal here is to engage the user and build interest in what you have to offer. Now, here's where retargeting comes into play. After the user has interacted with your blog content, we then retarget them with a display ad, as you can see on the slide. This ad is designed to drive them to a specific product or service landing page. The final step is conversion. Another display ad with stronger CTA and the landing page work together to encourage the user to complete a specific action, such as making a purchase, signing up for a newsletter, or filling out a form.
Great. Now, StackAdapt runs a lot of display and native campaigns all over the world, as you can imagine, and we get a very good understanding of best practice and what really works. As you can see from the slide, we can see that a mixture of display and native impressions have a higher conversion rate than a single channel. And so harnessing display and native can have a significant impact on ROI for your campaigns. Okay, so we will finish up before we go into the Q&A with this example from a brand called Underclub. They launched a native and display campaign targeting high-income males and females reading about fashion, luxury fashion, and categorized as avid shoppers. Additionally, they targeted males who were shopping for gifts and birthday presents. They used a combination of third-party and custom segments to build their audience pool, and they retargeted anyone who had visited the site with a monthly package offering. Live Marketing, the agency that was involved in this campaign, partnered with the StackAdapt Creative Studio to design display ad formats, putting at least 4 images into rotation across all of their creative for their display prospecting campaign. By leveraging the creative strategist in conjunction with the precision targeting, the Under Club campaign achieved some pretty impressive results, as you can see on the screen. So that is it as far as the official presentation goes. Arda, have we got time for Q&As? How are we doing for time?
Yes, we do have time for Q&A. So question that we have coming in is around the tactics that you would recommend to mitigate ad fatigue when using both display and native ads repeatedly targeting the same audience segments.
Yeah, I'd love to answer that. It's a really good question. To combat ad fatigue in both display and native ads, here are my suggestions. So number one, you can rotate your creative. So keep your ads fresh by regularly updating images, headlines, or copy. It's good if you have like a plan or like a what do you call that, like a creative mapping, whereas you can always test and always learn from the creatives that you have been running. Second, implement frequency caps. Limit how often the users use your ad to prevent overexposure. So if you're running a campaign, let's say it's on StackAdapt platform, there's a way to set a frequency cap in your campaigns. Third, segment audiences. So tailor ads to specific audience segments based on behavior, interest, or demographics. There's also a way on the platform whereas you can assign the creative based on the demographics or like based on the segments. And then use retargeting strategically. Be selective with retargeting to avoid overusing it. You can actually create or add a different creative for your prospecting campaign and have another creative for your retargeting campaign, if that makes sense. And then test and monitor. Continuously test different ad versions and monitor performance to avoid fatigue. So that is my suggestion.
Thank you, Ina. And another one interesting question that we have is, how does StackAdapt measure the ROI of combined display and native ad campaigns, and what metrics are most indicative of success?
Okay, I'll take that one on. I guess a lot depends on the KPI of the campaign. But one of the real strengths of programmatic, especially with StackAdapt, is transparency of pretty much all aspects of the campaign. So, for example, if the goal is awareness, then reach and frequency within our defined audience is key. And as I mentioned earlier, we might also recommend a StackAdapt brand lift study to draw out the impact of our campaign on our target audience. Excuse me. If it's all about engagement, then metrics such as viewability and click-through rates and time on site are important. If conversion is the end game, then cost per conversion, conversion revenue, return on ad spend, etc., all become critical to the campaign success. But all of these metrics and a whole lot more are all live on the StackAdapt platform and there to interrogate and learn from and optimize from. And optimize our campaigns in real time, essentially, and ensure that the best possible ROI is achieved on each campaign.
Thank you, Richard. Another question is, how should we allocate our budget between display and native advertising channels to maximize ROI?
A great question once again. So I'd love to answer that. For me, start by defining clear objectives for each type of ad. So consider how this different formats fit into your marketing funnel. So utilize display and video ads to grab attention maybe and build brand awareness at the top of the funnel. Then leverage native ads for deeper engagement in the middle of the funnel. And then use display channel for conversion at the bottom of the funnel, focusing on retargeting strategies. So ensure your messaging is consistent across formats. And remember, the allocation of budget between display and native ad channels should be based on your specific campaign objectives, target audience, and the stage of the marketing funnel you're focusing on. So it's also important to continually monitor and adjust your strategy based on performance data. So I know that I didn't directly answer the question because it pretty much depends on your objective and how you see these channels fit in your marketing funnel. So if you see that oh, I want to use display more for awareness, then allocate more budget to that. Or if you want to allocate budget on display for like retargeting campaigns, and allocate budget for that one. It's really up to you, like how to um portion your budget into different, depending on your objectives. That makes sense. Yeah.
Thank you, Ina. And one last question that we have before we move to the closing remarks and closing thoughts. How can we create a cohesive cross-channel strategy that integrates display and native advertising with our marketing efforts, such as Google and Meta, for maximum impact?
Okay, another great question. Okay, I think it's really about defining clear objectives. Understand what you want to achieve with each platform. For instance, you might use display and native ads for brand awareness and engagement, while Google and Meta could be used for lead generation and further down the funnel with conversions. Consistent messaging. Ensure your brand's message is consistent across all platforms, but tailored to the strength of each. For example, your display ads might highlight a key visual, whilst your native ads provide useful and relatable content. And specifically with Meta, we often include a bespoke Meta pixel onto our StackAdapt campaigns. And this enables our clients to replicate the sort of forensic targeting that we can bring to bear programmatically into the Meta channels. And we find that our clients find that engagement and conversion levels on Meta can really see a big uplift when they implement this strategy. So it's definitely well worth doing.
Thank you, Richard. And actually, one last question came up from the audience. Tom is asking, can you identify which audience segments have performed well to help improve future campaigns?
I can answer that. So it depends on the objective once again, but based on my experience, since we're across multiple campaigns, the ones that have always been performing well is the browsing audience. I would say that is performing very well for both display and native. If it's a conversion campaign, you may consider, of course, retargeting segments, and also PCAI. And if it's a niche product, then consider keyword rule targeting, because PCAI and KRT are very good for conversion campaigns, most especially for view throughs. But aside from browsing audience, we also have like lookalike audience that you can test for lower funnel campaigns. For upper funnel campaigns, or like more for awareness, then you may also try browsing audiences, lookalike audiences, third-party segments, and the likes. So really depending on the objective.
Amazing. Thank you so much once again, Richard and Ina. And I think we have one more slide on closing thoughts if you want to go over that, and then we'll finalize the webinar after that.
Great. I'll take this on then. So hopefully we've covered quite a lot today with regards to display and native. What our thoughts really are is that by leveraging more than one channel, you've got a much better chance of really optimizing campaigns, broadening the reach, and delivering really good ROI for your campaigns. I think it's also very important to focusing on being as precise as possible with targeting and optimizing that as we go along. I think with our creative that we went through earlier in the presentation as well, then refreshing creative and using different A/B testing for creative solutions is a way of finding out what really resonates with your audience. And campaigns can be successful and they can be running successfully, but I think it's and I know Ina would definitely adhere to this, is we constantly need to focus on where conversions and success is coming from, and really have a sort of forensic approach to the best way of optimizing all of our campaigns, which is where the StackAdapt team come into play, and we work as very much as an extension to our clients' teams. So hopefully that covers everything off with regards to display and native, but as Arda says, we'll be sending you a copy of this this presentation straight after.
Amazing. Thank you so much once again, Richard and Ina. And that concludes today's webinar. I would like to thank you all for attending today. We hope you find it both informative and insightful. Thanks for everyone joining, and enjoy the rest of your day.